Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another daily cryptocurrency market update. If you are new around here, every single day at 1 p.m. UK time, we release an update just like this one to help you stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto markets and also the broader markets. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. This is going to be quite an interesting update. We will cover Bitcoin technically. We'll also sort of cross over into a little bit of the sort of macro landscape. We had some interesting things coming out from the Fed with, of course, the continued capitulation in the bond market. And we've actually said, isn't it interesting how the Fed are kind of treading a lot more carefully, even though inflation is spiking up in certain areas, but probably due to the fact that the bond market is getting hit so hard. And the bond market is central. We've already seen central banks' willingness to step in relation to the bond market, first of all, with the gilts in the United Kingdom. And then, of course, with Silicon Valley Bank, they essentially printed $400 billion or aided $400 billion in that situation and also agreed to buy as many gilts as possible. So we are going to be looking at that. We also have a really interesting video from a kind of Bitcoin point of view. Now, you guys remember last week we highlighted that an account named Satoshi, thought to be believed or thought to be owned by Craig Wright. However, I cannot confirm or deny that. Essentially, for the first time in 5 years, you can see the last post down here, came out and tweeted, Bitcoin is a predicate machine. Over the following months, we shall explore different aspects that were not explicitly contained within the white paper. These aspects are all part of Bitcoin and are important. Some of these ideas were touched upon in the early years. Now is the time to explore and explain. And very interestingly, today we had Robin Linus actually come out and release BitVM, compute anything on Bitcoin. Any computable function can be verified on Bitcoin. So what does this mean? Well, it essentially means that smart contracts may be possible utilizing Bitcoin's chain, essentially. And we will explore that a little bit in this video. Of course, we did do a full write-up on it over at allincrypto.com, which we will take you to when we actually dive into that. So first things first, guys, housekeeping. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about crypto from the chart point of view and the kind of economic point of view. You guys know that ultimately we're bullish. Okay, we think that Friday's close last week potentially set us up for a turning of the kind of macro headwinds that we've been against. This was Friday's close for the S&P, NASDAQ. We had lots of, and we look to be validated on that, even though yesterday, given what's happening in the Middle East, markets greeted what took place over the weekend with uncertainty. They don't like uncertainty. However, I still think markets largely are on the turn. And that macro headwind that's been against Bitcoin, it's done largely better than the stock market has, is about to turn and potentially propel it. And this is at a time where we're just in a range. We're waiting for that upside break of 28,500 or the losing of 25,000. And then you're going to get that deeper correction. But I do think that there's a turning for the markets. Now, my trading view, unfortunately, guys, has been somewhat messed up. But if we look at the Dixie, again, I think we're validated. I think what we're looking at is right. And we are ultimately actually short-term a lot more optimistic. Bitcoin is still, of course, in a range. It's still pinned under that 30-weekly moving average. If you guys want to learn about stage analysis, please do consider becoming a Patreon. But you are still very much caught up in this range. Okay? And until you break it, we'll just draw it very quickly. Short term, we don't really have that much to go on. So Bitcoin needs to either come and take this out, and then what you'll find that you'll slice through the volume above you, certainly once you take this very quickly, and you'll end up in 40K, which we have targets for from a bull flag and also from an inverse head and shoulders. So I actually am bullish on Bitcoin right now, despite everything, despite what people are saying. Remember, we've done a lot of looking into the sort of macro situation, and actually where we've been right this year on the markets and having a bullish outlook, look at the stock markets and your all-time high, so on and so forth. Altcoins, tricky, but they will turn eventually and really get going and actually start to outperform Bitcoin soon. And hopefully we're positioned for that. You want to find out what I'm buying and where, please do consider becoming a Patreon. And also, first thing you've got to do when you're there is catch up on our video yesterday where we looked at crypto stocks, which actually align very much with what we're saying in regards to how they're positioned and the direction that they are telling me that they want to go in. But ultimately, you know, the reason we've been right on the bullish sentiment on the markets is because we understand that rates lag, and everyone's expecting a crash. They don't possibly see how an economy can do well under high rates. Well, actually, historically, that has been the case. So you guys know the score for Bitcoin, crypto generally. You know, I think there's a general turning around of the markets. If you're not already subscribed, guys, do subscribe to this channel. Moving on, Logan's speech is worth reading. The why of this recent bond sell-off matters importantly for the Fed. If this is about the market expecting a higher policy path, that wouldn't necessarily change the path, but higher term premiums have a different implication altogether. There's been a number of Fed members that have actually come out. Dallas Fed President Laureen Logan, who has been at the hawkish end of the FOMC, takes seriously the recent turn up in Treasury yields and term premiums in particular. Her conviction about the need to go higher again sounds a little diminishing as a result. So we've spoken about this food chain of markets, okay? And the bond market's right at the top. It's central to finance itself. You know, it is the liability that comes with an asset, which is the cash that gets sort of put into existence. This is how we print money through issuing debt, basically, and then, you know, basically accounting, putting money one way and then creating a liability on the back end of it. So this market is central to everything, and it's just continuing to get absolutely killed. And actually, we've said, and we've been one of the only people saying, I think actually the bond market is going to drive monetary policy more so than really anything. Because we've already seen, as a result of bond Silicon Valley Bank, which was here, and then they got this bid. In the UK, it was the gilts. We used a 10-year, which was here, and now it's back down. You know, this is really what's likely going to drive monetary policy and provide a potentially more dovish, whilst it's doing this, tone moving forwards. I don't think, even though we're getting the strong data, which is why I don't think the non-farm really affected rate pricing, the bond market is of serious concern to these people. And I do think we are going to continue to get better economic data than expected. International Monetary Fund raises US growth forecast for 2023, leaves global outlook unchanged. You know, we got a lot of data coming in this week. We've got the NAB for the Australians. Got a number of Fed speakers, IMF meeting, and then tomorrow, of course, we've got PPIs, FOMC Waller, and then the big one, of course, is Thursday with the CPI. I reckon you're going to get a lower print, and I think actually the markets could enjoy that. And the market certainly closed in a positive fashion on Friday for risk, and hopefully we see that play out this week. And even though we had a bit of a harsh opening yesterday for crypto, we think that crypto is very lackluster market at the moment, low volume. With everything going on in the Middle East, I think naturally it's going to play through into the markets more generally. However, they seem to have shaken it off. Not at all to trivialize what's going on over there. It is atrocious, and you know, my heart goes out to people on both sides of this that are caught up in it innocently and that don't, you know, haven't asked for it. Let's move on to Bitcoin and the future. So this was really interesting because this was an account that hadn't moved in 5 years. He then goes on and puts a whole series of tweets. Bitcoin was created for everyone. Just bear with me a second, guys. The next halving is an important predicted occurrence when transaction fees are meant to start to supplant the missing subsidy. There are many who do not want to know the truth. It is not that they want to silence this account. They want to silence you. 2024 is the year of the dragon. Who knows where this is going? A predicted system ends true or false or does not work. Moving Bitcoin from one point in the ledger to another point only requires a certain amount of something. The quorum system then requires a significant number of percentage. Loads of tweets have been coming from this account. Bitcoin operates on a decentralized ledger called the blockchain. Okay. You know, in context, Bitcoin is quorum or consensus. Don't even know what this is. So this person may have lost the plot, but that tweet, that the first time they tweeted for 5 years, was an interesting one, and we paid attention. We said, actually, this is interesting. What are they talking about, this new direction and evolution of Bitcoin? Today, or yesterday, you actually had this individual here, Robin Linus. Any computational function can be verified on Bitcoin. So BitEV is a computing paradigm to express Turing complete, which is a development language for anyone that's unfamiliar. Bitcoin contracts, so smart contracts. This requires no changes to the network consensus rules rather than executing computation on Bitcoin. They are merely verified similarly to optimism rollups. A provider makes a claim that gives function, so on and so forth. So it looks like we may be getting smart contracts on Bitcoin through this. This was, of course, the paper. And anybody that wants to find out more about this, please do come and check out allincrypto.com. I've got to say, guys, that the feedback and viewers that we've had on the website is astounding. And I think the reason being is because we're the only people really fairly covering the crypto space. But we've done a full write-up on this. We even looked at some of Adam Black's comments, saying that it's similar to the Greg Maxwell's 2016 ZK sort of paradigm. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. We'll see. Is this what this account was talking about? I actually don't happen to think so. I do think that Bitcoin maxis are the most confused individuals in the crypto room. They have failed to see that this technology goes further than Bitcoin, although Bitcoin is the most or one of the most important components of it. It's what birthed this industry, but distributed ledger technology is going to be used in everything. And it's going to actually far expand Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin being a peer-to-peer system, I think is a pure vision. Although it's very ironic to me that the maxis all want to move away from that, and they want to add this to it and that to it, and they want to add a third party here, even though Satoshi told them not to do that. Anyway, that's just my take. So we'll see how the markets play out today. Let me know your thoughts on what you think of the BitEV. I'm bullish. You know, even if we take that longer term correction, which we've looked at, I think that's going to be a golden opportunity ultimately to take you to the upside. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you guys. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so is a comment. If you're not already a subscriber, please do so. Don't forget to check us out on the socials, at @RealAllInCrypto on Twitter or X. And of course, check out our website. And that's all I've got for you guys. Have a triumphant Tuesday, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.